Little thing's spinning. We're live. Hey, hello, anyone who's watching. Welcome to my MAME cabinet update live stream. It's funny because it actually works like a mirror, and so everything's backwards. But I'm not used to seeing my computer act like a mirror. It's just kind of funny. Anyway, this time I remembered to put this on this side so that in the thumbnail, the time of the video won't cover up what's written. You know, last time I went to all the trouble of trying to make a marquee for the thumbnail that people would be able to read, and it didn't work at all. You know, I could take a new thumbnail and actually replace it. I had thought of that. The live stream stuff on YouTube just takes a picture. Like you fill out the description, you click next, and then it says 3, 2, 1, go, and you get a picture. And then at some point I learned that you can actually retake that picture. But that is not why you tuned in. Actually, I have no idea why you tuned in, but I really do appreciate it. So anyway, we don't need that anymore. So this is an update video, and first things first, I want to say it's a new year. Happy 2019. I hope everybody had a great holiday, and getting back to work isn't too taxing or miserable. So I had taken some time off for the holidays, and I greatly enjoyed my time off. Although I have to say, I spent a lot of it working on the MAME cabinet project. I didn't edit videos. I didn't shoot a whole lot because this is one of those projects. And see, this is the nice thing about this live stream, just kind of segueing for a moment. The nice thing about doing the live streams is I can tell you the stuff that you're not going to see in the videos. Because, of course, I tape things as I go on, and then if I find that I've gone down a road that didn't really lead anywhere, well, then I'm probably not going to use that footage, because like I said before, I try to keep the videos short. But here in a live stream, it's no holds barred. It's wacky. So, I can tell you some of the stuff that when you see the video that I do for this project, you'll be like, wait a minute, I watched the live stream for that, and I don't remember I don't remember him mentioning any of this. Now, before I continue, I should probably make sure that I can see my chat window. That would be good. So let's see, top chat, live chat, all message. Let's do this. Oh, there we go. Okay, so hey, Nathan Fillion is back. Hello, Nathan. Connie, good to see you. I'm always amazed that you guys are willing to tune in, even on a Monday evening. Don't you have to go to bed? Like, don't you go to bed at like 5:30, something like that? You know what? You're right. I don't want to miss you chatting. Anyway, so I have my messages now. They're a little bit small, but I can see them. So what was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about the MAME cabinet. All right. So the MAME cabinet has been a slog. This project. This stuff, it's not that it's hard. Hard isn't the right way to describe it. But like if you're a tech geek and you are watching all the latest stuff being released from Raspberry Pi and staying on top of social media and seeing the new versions of RetroPie and everything that are thank you for that. Did we name him yet? Oh, well, we're going to have to come up with a name for the alpaca. Nathan, you're allowed to make suggestions. I see a let's see, Nathan Fillion says, you see my emoji of a thumb, then a nail. Yeah, thumbnail. He was talking about thumbnails. Yeah, I went there. Wow. Nathan says Crusher. Of course. Of course. Speaking of Crusher, look at this. As soon as I started setting up the live stream, Wesley decided to get on my lap. I love him so much. He's such a sweet cat. My leg is falling asleep. It really hurts, but I'm not going to move because, I mean, he's cute. So anyway, if you're on top of this stuff, like for instance, if I were watching Raspberry Pi's updates and things like that, then I would have known that the new hardware has been revised since the last time that I bought a Raspberry Pi. If I were watching RetroPie's releases and things like that, then I would have known that the version of RetroPie that I was using is based off of an older version of Raspbian than all the other builds that I've been using for my Raspberry Pis, and thus it would not work for my new Raspberry Pi. But you know what? I'm a geek, but I'm not like a tech geek. I'm more of a DIY geek. Is there such thing as a DIY geek? I mean, I'm definitely some kind of a geek, but I just I don't live and breathe the latest Raspberry Pi release or the latest Retro Pi release, because to be honest, once I get it to work, then I want to move on. I want to work on the next project. I want to do something new and different. So if I were that kind of geek, then this project would have been much, much simpler, because I would have known already that there were going to be changes. And I probably, if I were that kind of a geek, would be able to do this stuff like that. No problem. But I'm not. And so, unfortunately, finding a new version of RetroPie that worked. DIY geek. All right. Nathan Fillion votes for DIY geek. Woo! If I ever actually get famous, I'm going to make T-shirts that say DIY geek or something like that. Anyway, if I were that kind of a geek, then I would probably be able to do this stuff very easily, because I'd be doing it all the time for fun. That's the thing. The people that are into this, they want to try out the latest software. They want to see what it takes to break it and make it not work. I don't want to make it break. I just want it to work. If I'd known that it was, I wish that there was a way that I could just specially request the older revision of the Raspberry Pi. I don't know how to do that. And really, I guess in the long run, I don't want to do that, because at this point, any Raspberry Pi Model 3B Plus is going to be the newer revision. And I think that as I was researching this, I found that this is probably going to be the last revision of that Raspberry Pi. They're going to be moving on to new hardware that's a completely different model, which I say, yeah, go for it. I wish you success. And let's just make sure that I can keep getting the old hardware, because I don't want to have to go through this again. So, I want it to work. Thank you, Monica MC. Whoever that is, lovely and talented, beautiful Monica MC. I might have a crush. Shh, don't tell my wife. So, shut up, Nathan. You know what? Just for that, I'm going to make this video take 5 minutes longer. So there. take that. Nathan Fillion, by the way, is asking me if there's anything that I can do fast. And yeah, I could add time to this video very easily. Ha! Anyway, that's so I have had some success, and I'm gonna admit some things here that are most likely not going to end up in the final video. This is my my X-Arcade dual joystick, and I did replace the ball or the joystick mechanisms with ball sticks. This originally had bats on it. I don't like the bats. They're not comfortable. When I play Pac-Man, I grab the ball like this, and I play like that, and you know, quick, decisive movements. You can't do that with a bat style stick, you know, because they kind of require you to hold it like this. It's not comfortable. It doesn't work for me. I don't like it, so I changed it. I also, here, I'm going to show you this actually looks worse than it really is. It sort of looks like a mess, but this is actually greatly neatened from what I had before. And what I did was, since I was already replacing the joysticks with these two newer models that I find more comfortable, I went ahead and took out the wiring for the X-Arcade joystick, and I wired all of these controls into this USB chip. I did that because the X-Arcade joystick, I've had this thing for, I think, a decade at least. So the idea that there would be that it would be compatible with any kind of modern software just seemed ridiculous to me. I just assumed that the only thing that the Raspberry Pi would see is a keyboard, and it would only recognize it as one controller. Apparently there is a driver, which I actually found a driver for the dual stick with the trackball, and that driver allows the Raspberry Pi to see at least the version of this with the trackball as two controllers, and I imagine that it works for this as well. I suspect that they use the same electronics for all this stuff. So, so that whole step of adding the other USB chip was completely unnecessary. Oops. But, you know, this is the thing. If I were a tech guy and I were watching this stuff religiously, then I probably would have known, oh yeah, people are still using these things, and they're great because this hardware is fantastic. I mean, it really is. It's very impressive stuff. So it does make sense, but I just never imagined that something that I got 10 years ago would still be getting software releases today. That doesn't usually happen with technology. So that was a lot of work, and it was unnecessary. Yeah. Now it's going to work fine. The things that I did are still going to work, but it was just a road that I didn't have to go down. I also have my X-Arcade trackball, which for all intents and purposes, this is a mouse. And what I've discovered is that while the MAME for all, which is one of the versions of MAME that it comes installed on RetroPie, it's a standard package. MAME for all does not recognize mouse input. So anything that you try to play, Centipede, Star Wars, bowling, anything like that, it's going to try to take input from a joystick. And for all of you retro arcade snobs out there, you would agree that that is not the right way to play every game. So what I've found through research is that MAME 2003 and MAME 2010 do recognize mouse input. And so I installed that on my RetroPie. I got a collection of ROMs, and of course, I only got the ROMs that I have legal rights to, as every person who downloads ROMs to put onto RetroPie and play on a MAME cabinet. We all do that. Okay, this is serious stuff. So, you know, I would never, ever advise anyone to do something that is illegal. So, before I get struck by lightning for completely unrelated reasons, I'm going to change subjects. Here's another thing that I got. Yeah. I want there to be a keyboard on this thing, but I don't want it to be a big keyboard because, there's already going to be 2 joysticks and a trackball that even right now, I'm not sure how I'm going to fit all that stuff in there. But I got this. It's a little tablet keyboard, and it has a micro USB connector. Now, I'm hoping that this is how this works. I've got somewhere around here. Do I have them here? Okay, I don't have them. Well, I have some cords off of other keyboards that I've gutted that have a USB and or other USB devices. Maybe they were mouse. I don't know. But I do have a couple other. Oh, okay. Here's one. So this is a USB cable. Okay, and you see it's just got pin connectors on the end, and so I am going to take out the wires to this and replace it with this. Here's another shorter one. Might use that one, might not. It's not as long, but it is black. Looks nicer. So if the USB connections are the same as they would be for a regular computer, then I'm going to be able to use this keyboard, and it's going to take up a lot less space. And I might even hide it underneath a panel since you're not going to need it all the time. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to fit everything in there. But, there's just sometimes when it's good to have a keyboard. There's controllers out there, like the ColecoVision controller always wants you to press a number. The Odyssey always wants you to select numbers, and there's a lot of games that use numbers and letters and stuff. And while those aren't my main focus with this machine, I want the machine to be able to do it if I decide for any reason that I want to. So this is going to get integrated in. And I thought, initially I was going to hook everything up and turn it on and make sure everything was working. But I thought, where's the dramatic tension? Where's the element of surprise? Where's the risk of catastrophic failure if I do that? So I have everything hooked up. I have not turned it on. We're going to see if any of the stuff that I have done is actually working. So let me move the camera. All right. Okay, so I got my little TV here, and I've got my RetroPie right here, and I'm going to turn it on. I know I say RetroPie when actually this is a Raspberry Pi with RetroPie software. You're just going to have to forgive me. That's what I'm calling it. It is now a RetroPie. And if you disagree, then please feel free to leave lots and lots of terribly angry and rude comments in somebody else's video, because my feelings get hurt very easily and I cry a lot. So we've got, I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of, wow, that's amazingly bright. I wonder if I can. I don't know if I can do anything. I'm looking at another screen and I see that this looks like just a big white blast of light. So you can't see much. Maybe if I pull back. I'm sure that there's a brightness control on here somewhere, but I don't really want to screw around with it. So instead, I'm just going to use, here. I can pull back a little bit more. Try not to knock things off, and then you can see the arcade controls in the background. Look at that. Okay, so we've got this, and we've got this. Look at that. Okay, well, you can't actually see it doing anything, but right now the screen is selecting different game systems and it's working through the joystick. And so let's try the other joystick. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's working. That is awesome. That makes me very, very, very happy. So let's hit A, and then this is the arcade folder, and in the arcade folder, it will actually group different versions of MAME together, at least the ones that aren't standard packages. So the only version of MAME I have in here is MAME 2003, so I'm going to hit A again, and then here's all of my different games, which on this little TV is really hard to read, but I can make it out. You cannot. All you see is blurs of text, and oh, Wesley, you are cramping my leg. Oh, this is so painful. Wait. Oh, ow, oh. Okay, there we go. Okay. There. Is Wesley okay? Wesley is okay. Yeah, there he is. You want to look into the camera? Nope, he refuses. He is not going to look into the camera. All right, so enough of that. Let's go ahead and we're going to hit the select button. Get that out of there. Stop it. I'm getting heckled from my technical assistant here. Okay, so there's a jump to thing, which I know you can't read, and we're going to jump to P for obvious reasons, and then we're going to select A, and then we're going to go down here, and we're going to play, let's go to one of the most hated games in the history of arcade games. I don't know if it's still hated, but I know that at the time everybody hated it. Pac-Man Plus. The game where they tried to stop people from using patterns in Pac-Man, and what they succeeded in doing is stopped people from playing Pac-Man. So most arcade owners just took out the chip and turned it back into regular Pac-Man. So here we go. We've got the startup screen, and okay, so that's the coin. All right. So Pac-Man Plus looks a lot like normal Pac-Man, except that the screen is green rather than brown. And instead of cherries, I appear to have a Coke can. Sorry, it's really hard to play this way with the cat on my lap and me leaning across a little table. Now, you really want to get that Coke can because, go, there we go. It makes the ghosts invisible, but it acts like a power pellet. And that's really useful because in Pac-Man Plus, the actual power pellets don't work as well. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that time we actually This is really awkward. I'm having a hard time here. So here we go. Now it's nice. I've gotten full power on all these power pellets, which is awfully nice of them. In Pac-Man Plus, sometimes only 3 of the ghosts turn, which kind of ruins your day, especially when it's the ghost that's closest to you, which it usually is. No. Okay. So anyway, that's working. So let's exit out of that. Now let's go to a game that requires trackball. So I'm going to hit select, and I'm going to go back to C for centipede. And let's go to centipede. Everybody loves centipede. If you don't love centipede, you're not trying hard enough. Okay, let's try this one. See if it works. Okay, seems to be working. Now, unfortunately, none of these buttons seem to start it, so I'm going to try putting in a coin here. Maybe here. Start works. Hey, look at this. Now, it definitely needs some calibration because I'm having to spin a lot just to get a little bit of movement. You know what? Now, see, this is where if I had a keyboard connected, like an actual keyboard, not an imitation keyboard, which is essentially what the X Arcade joystick is, I could just hit the P button and pause the game, go into tab, and select through the menus. And all the menus, they really do require a normal keyboard. I'm sure that you could arrange hotkeys and things to make it so that you don't need one. But, sometimes the simplest solution is the best. And I think that just having a dedicated keyboard on this thing would be really nice. But nonetheless, this is awesome. This, aside from the fact that I have to do a lot of spinning to make a movement, this is really the only way to play Centipede. I will admit that it's fun on the Atari 2600, even with the joystick, but it's still not as good. So that's Centipede, and that's working. That is awesome. So, you want to push our luck? I want to push my luck. So let me hit select and start. There we go. Okay. We're going to go select, and we're going to hit S. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that last night when I was trying this, it was not working. But let's just see what happens. So we are at S. And we're going to have to do a lot of scrolling here. And we're up to SH. I almost maybe should have gone to T and then gone backwards. So we are looking for ST. There it is. There it is. The mother of all video games, the greatest game to ever hit arcades, or at least, a really good one. There we go. Star Wars, the arcade version. This is awesome. All right. Let's see if we can get a coin in here. I couldn't even get a coin in before. Huh. Well, let's try one of these buttons. So this is what we call technical difficulties. Yeah, I can't seem to get to play Star Wars. Well, once again, perhaps if I had a keyboard connected right now, then I might be able to go through the configurations and get it to do what it's supposed to do, but I don't, and I'm not going to do that on camera. So let's close down this window of disappointment. At least we know that that's working. All right, well, 2 out of 3 is not bad. And I am confident that sooner or later I will figure out how to make Star Wars work with the trackball, and that's going to be great. In fact, I'm confident enough that I'm going to move ahead with the next phase of this project and start redesigning the cabinet. I mean, at this point, I have all the hardware. Assuming that this works, then I will have a keyboard, I will have a trackball, I will have dual controllers with a crap ton of buttons, I have a TV that I'm using, so I've got everything. And I've got my games, all that I have legal rights to, of course. And so that's it. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I need to. This is actually like a little leather binder type thing or a vinyl thing. It's sewn together, and then this appears to be like a laptop keyboard that they just sort of sewed into this flexy thin pad. So this thin pad will probably go away, and then I'm going to get the USB contacts that this wire is connected to and instead connect this wire to it, and then hopefully when I plug that in, it'll be a fully functional keyboard. So assuming that works, then I have all the hardware figured out, and I can start coming up with a new design for the MAME cabinet, and that's going to be fun. And I'll do, of course, as I do those things, I'll shoot video, and then at some point I'll slog through the hours and hours and hours of tedious, awful, uninteresting footage of this process and throw away 99% of it to turn it into a little 6 to 10 minute video about this process. But that's for the future. I guess that's it. Happy 2019. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in. Oh, Quentin, hey, you came on. You logged on. That's great. I love it when I see Quentin log in. Hi, Quentin. And Crusher. Hey, Crusher, the alpaca. Don't crush my keyboard. Get out of here, Crusher. So, well, yes, that's it for Monday, January 7th, 2019. Everyone have a fantastic 2019, and let's do some cool stuff together. So, this is Clay Carlino telling you to be brave. It's my catchphrase. I kind of have to say it. I'll see you next time.